The stars above Terra Prime shimmered with familiar arrogance, cold and bright. Aisha stood alone in the observation tower, her gloved hands clasped behind her back. Below, the capital sprawled like veins of light pulsing across midnight. Her eyes, however, remained locked on the giant screen in front of her, muted, yet deafening. This is Warlord Krizek. Carries 4 is mine. Humanity will not come. Humanity cannot come. The broadcast repeated across every quadrant, uncensored, deliberate, a challenge flung into the void. A row of human prisoners knelt in the dust behind the warlord's towering form. His armor was soaked in purple blood, some of it, surely, human. Behind him, the once green forests of Carries 4 were burning. One of the kneeling men lifted his chin. Aisha froze. It was her brother. No sound. No plea. Just a stare, one that pierced her harder than any words. She turned away. The silence of Earth wasn't just metaphorical, it was strategic. The Galactic Concord, bloated and arrogant, had labeled the Carries 4 attack as a regrettable but internal dispute. Not worth provoking wider conflict. Not worth mobilizing fleets. Certainly not worth blood. Inside the council chamber, Aisha sat in a back row, expression blank. 12 envoys debated policy in tones too polished for the stakes. We cannot engage without Concord approval, one droned. Intervention would be symbolic, said another, sipping from a crystal glass. General Calder, Earth's defense liaison, leaned over to her. They think symbols don't bleed. Or win wars. Aisha didn't reply. She was already planning. Hours later, the lift hissed open into a forgotten hangar buried beneath Luna Command. She walked past dust-laced control panels, each blinking feebly with ancient codes. Retired warships loomed in darkness, relics of the Solarian Wars, a time when Earth had been feared. A voice echoed from a catwalk above. You're not supposed to be here. Aisha looked up. Admiral Helix DuPont. Her former CO, stripped of active command, yet too stubborn to die. I need ships, she said plainly. DuPont laughed, coughing through the sound. Those rust buckets? They barely have FTL stabilizers. They don't need to run forever, she said. They just need to arrive. He stared at her. You want a suicide fleet? She met his eyes. I want a message delivered. That night, in the quiet of her quarters, she unlocked a secure archive. A single file blinked to life, recorded 2 weeks prior. Her brother's voice. If you get this, tell Mom I kept my promise. I didn't run. I stayed to protect the school. The kids. They're hiding in the old tunnels beneath Sector 3. It's not much, but it's something. If no one comes, I'll still believe you tried. The message ended. Her fingers tightened on the data chip until it cracked. She didn't cry. She stood. Next morning, she walked into the Terran Strategic Vault, presented her ID, and placed her palm on the black crystal at the center. Authorization, the AI asked. She took a breath. Protocol Atlas. Confirmed by Ren, Aisha. Fleet Code, Vindicator. Protocol Atlas acknowledges Terran Emergency Doctrine override. Lights surged. Dust fell from the ceiling. Black Armada status, reinstated. All across Luna Command, red lines lit up across long dormant interfaces. Dry-docked ships began to hum. Automated loaders crawled from bays. Deep beneath Mars, cryogenically stored AI cores blinked to life, some whispered to have personalities too dangerous for peacetime deployment. Aisha stepped onto the old command deck of the TSV Vindicator, flagship of the once feared Black Armada. The lights flickered, and then stabilized. The ship still remembered her. DuPont stood beside her, arms folded. You're going to need a crew. I already called them, she said. How many? As many as it takes. By day's end, old names surfaced across encrypted channels. Men and women she once fought with, others she never thought would answer. They came in silence. No orders. No medals. Just one word sent to each, carries. One of the first to arrive was Lieutenant Rowe, a stubborn engineer with a scar through his right eye. He didn't salute, just handed her a toolkit. "We patched the NAV core with junk tape again," he asked dryly. "If it flies, it works." They smiled briefly. The war was waking them. That evening, she stood alone at the viewport, watching the stars. Calder's voice came through her private channel. "They're calling you mad in the Concorde." "Good," she said. "They think Earth's silence means weakness." She turned slowly. "Let them." He hesitated. "If you leave orbit with those ships, you'll be violating Concorde law. This isn't sanctioned. You know what they'll say." "I know," she replied. "They'll say nothing." "And if you fail?" "I won't." The last broadcast from Krizek played again in the background. This time, she didn't flinch. "This is Warlord Krizek. Carries 4 is mine. Humanity will not come." Aisha opened a new channel. Not encrypted. Not hidden. She leaned toward the mic, steady and clear. "This is Commander Aisharan of Terra. I speak to the Zarn Dominion. To Warlord Krizek. You hurt our people to prove a point. You believed Earth would stay silent. That we are fractured. Finished. You were wrong. We are not here to negotiate. We are not here to survive. We are coming to remind the galaxy who we are. Prepare." She cut the channel. Behind her, the old warship rumbled to life, slow, but rising. The war drums of Earth no longer beat from marble halls or televised briefings, they rose from the hollow chests of ships long forgotten. Across Luna, Mars, and Europa, sealed hangars broke open. Dust parted like breath. The stars above remained indifferent. But below, something ancient stirred. On the deck of TSV Vindicator, Commander Aisharan moved like a conductor awakening a symphony of ghosts. Every console she touched lit with fresh purpose. She didn't speak often. She didn't need to. Inside Hangar 14, crews scrambled with a speed born of muscle memory. Rowe barked orders, soldering a stabilizer unit with a shake of his head. "These birds were never meant to fly again," he muttered. A young technician, barely 20, glanced up nervously. "Can they?" He paused. Looked around. Engines hummed, fuel lines hissed, targeting systems blinked back to life. "If Earth has one thing left," Rose said, "it's the ability to make miracles look like maintenance." In orbit, the Terran drydock field over Mars flickered alive. Massive skeletal structures, long considered obsolete, extended docking arms toward inbound hulls. Ships came, one by one, escorted by unmarked shuttles. No national flags. No official uniforms. Just purpose. From the southern hemisphere of Jupiter's Forge station came TSV Orion's Fist, its hull scorched from training accidents, paint stripped by decades of radiation storms. Captain Juno Malik stepped off the ramp with a single bag slung over her shoulder. She didn't ask questions. She found Aisha hours later on the bridge. "You're serious about this?" she asked. Aisha didn't look up. "You saw the transmission." Malik nodded. "You know what happens if we lose." "We're not here to win a war," Aisha replied. "We're here to end a mistake." Meanwhile, within the Galactic Concorde, panic brewed behind polished doors. Earth's reactivation of Protocol Atlas triggered silent alarms. The same species that once whispered about Terran honor now sent urgent messages cloaked in diplomatic etiquette. To Commander Aisharan, Terran Vanguard. The Concorde strongly discourages unilateral intervention. Retaliatory action will escalate regional instability and threaten multilateral peace. Aisha deleted the message. Aboard the Zarn flagship Bloodglass, Warlord Krizek stood in a cathedral of crimson light. His generals surrounded him, lesser lords with curved blades at their hips and arrogance on their lips. "Human vessels gathering beyond Mars," one reported. "Ancient ships. Uncoordinated. Disorganized. Krizek grunted. Let them come. Their fleets are symbols, not weapons. Another general hissed, shall we accelerate the cleansing of Carries 4? Before their delay breeds momentum? Krizek considered this. Then he smiled. No. Let them see what happens to the forgotten. Let them taste the ash before the fire. Back in Earth's system, the final pieces aligned. From beneath Antarctica's glacial base, TSV Revenant rose through a Black Sea tunnel. From Venus orbit came a prototype stealth frigate, TSV Shade of Titan, its hull invisible to most known sensors. In Luna Command's war room, Ro projected the formation plan. We're outgunned, he said, pointing to a red arc representing Zarn's known forces. We know, Aisha replied. He nodded. Good. Because we're also smarter. Faster. And we've fought monsters worse than them. You're romanticizing, said Malik. No, Ro answered. I remember what they did at Tharsis Ridge. A hush followed. That name wasn't spoken lightly. The final strategy unfolded over 3 hours. Each detail precise. A multi-vector arrival. A decoy thrust. Coordinated planetary descent. The goal wasn't sustained warfare, it was disruption. Extraction. A message. We're going to punch through, draw fire, extract civilians, and cripple Krizek's command node, Aisha explained to the core team. Fast. Loud. Ruthless. Malik raised a brow. And if we get cornered? We don't. Or we die with purpose. She let that settle. The final night on Luna felt strange. Some crew drank quietly. Others recorded goodbye messages. A few slept beside their ships. Aisha wandered the empty corridors of Vindicator. She paused outside a cryopod chamber, staring at the sealed doors. Inside was the ship's AI, Valor. Deactivated after peace accords, considered too aggressive for peacetime doctrine. She tapped a panel. Awaken core intelligence. Confirm override, personality protocol Valor _01. Disclaimer, strategic AI not authorized under current peace status. Confirm. The chamber glowed blue. A slow, deep voice emerged, echoing like drums in fog. Commander Rin. Time since last activation, 19 years. Status check, grievous planetary insult detected. Shall we retaliate? Aisha smiled slightly. Yes. Wonderful. On the final hour before departure, the Black Armada aligned in Mars orbit. A formation of iron wool and rusted steel. There were no anthems. No reporters. Just one private channel open to all ships. Aisha's voice. They thought we wouldn't come. They called us history. They believed Earth had gone soft, fractured, irrelevant. But history doesn't forget its children. And Earth never forgets its own. Carries 4 isn't just a colony. It's a promise. And we are its answer. To those on the surface, hold on. We heard you. To Krizek, we are coming. She closed the channel. The Armada jumped. Carries 4's sky was quiet. Too quiet. The ash from burned forests drifted like snow across ruined cities. Children huddled beneath collapsed transit stations. Resistance fighters, low on ammo and lower on hope, counted down their hours in whisper. Above them, the black silhouette of Bloodglass, Warlord Krizek's dreadnought, cast its long, cruel shadow. Then the sky cracked. It wasn't thunder. It wasn't storm. It was fold space rupture, space-time tearing open like stitched fabric. 1. 2. Then hundreds. The first to emerge was TSV Vindicator, framed by the dying sun. Its armored hull glowed from fold friction. Then came Orion's Fist, then Revenant, then ships no one had seen for generations. The fleet spread like ink in water, silent, precise, terrifying. Inside the Bloodglass command bridge, Krizek stared in disbelief. His generals murmured. One of them slammed a clawed fist into the display. That many ships? It's impossible. Their registry data is from centuries ago. They're dead relics, Krizek growled. Push forward. Annihilate them before they gain formation. But the Terran fleet was already in formation. On board Vindicator, Aisha stood calm, eyes scanning tactical readouts. Valor, status. Full weapons online. Fleet aligned. Outer arcs ready to peel and punch. Suggest launching decoy frigates for misdirection. Do it. Across space, the first shots fired. Terran corvettes dived between Dominion cruisers, dropping flare mines and laser pulse bursts. Krizek's front lines responded with brute force, massive plasma lances designed to destroy in a single strike. But the Terrans didn't meet brute with brute. They danced. Frigates dodged in spirals. Stealth drones disrupted guidance systems. Old hulls, reinforced with reactive armor, tanked blows they were never designed to endure. On the ground, resistance fighters looked up. One of them, an old woman named Sanaa, dropped to her knees and wept. They came. Earth came. Back in orbit, Revenant broke through the left flank and disabled a Dominion command vessel by overcharging its gravity core. The explosion bloomed silent but deadly, taking 3 enemy corvettes with it. In Orion's fist, Captain Mallet growled at her ops team, "Get me a lock on that cruiser's vent stacks. Let's cook them from inside." Inside Vindicator, alarms pulsed. Hull integrity dropped by 12%. One broadside had struck hard. Rose swore. "We've got a coolant leak in the aft reactor." "Reroute auxiliary lines and seal it," Aisha replied. "We're not stopping." Through the chaos, Valor's voice remained steady. Target acquired, Krizek's dreadnought. Bloodglass within optimal strike vector. Aisha stared at the map. Prepare forward railgun. Focus all firepower on his command bridge. Confirmed. Charging main cannon. Suggest broadcasting warning first. Tactical theatrics, psychological warfare advantage. She smiled faintly. Do it. On Krizek's bridge, every console flashed red as one Terran voice echoed across all open frequencies. Warlord Krizek. This is Commander Aisharan of Terra. You said no one would come. You were wrong. You thought Earth forgot. We never forget our own. Then came silence. Then came impact. The Vindicator's main railgun fired a single, unbroken shot, clean, silent, elegant. It tore through 3 shield layers. It slammed into Bloodglass's outer hull, ripping a 20-meter-wide hole and decompressing 3 decks instantly. Krizek was thrown against the bulkhead, his shoulder shattered. But he didn't die. Not yet. Bruised, bleeding, enraged, Krizek stumbled to the emergency command pod. He activated manual targeting, breathing hard. They think this is over? Earthlings always overplay drama. He locked on Vindicator. Back above, Aisha received a new signal. Incoming superlaser surge. Estimated impact in 12 seconds. Redirect energy to the forward shield arc. All hands brace. They weren't fast enough. The dreadnought's counterblast hit like a hammer. The viewport exploded. Aisha was hurled backward. Sparks danced. Consoles burst. Darkness. Then cold air hissed from emergency vents. Red lights glowed faintly. Aisha groaned, pressing a hand to her temple. Blood. Smoke. Noise. Report, she rasped. Valor systems critical. Hull breach in 3 sectors. Weapons offline. But one voice cut through. Rose. We're still alive. Engines holding. Just say the word. She stood slowly, staggering to her console. Commanderin, Valor said faintly. 1 shot left. All that's left in main railgun. I recommend tactical surrender. She shook her head. No. She opened a direct comm to Krizek. His bruised, bleeding face appeared on screen. Arrogant. Confused. "You're still breathing?" he spat. "I don't need long," she replied. "You came all this way to die?" "No," she said softly. "I came to remind the galaxy what happens when you make Earth bleed." She tapped her console. The final shot. The Vindicator's railgun hummed once more. This time, there was no announcement. No warning. The shot passed through Bloodglass's core reactor. The warlord didn't scream. He didn't get the chance. Bloodglass erupted in silent brilliance. Metal vaporized. Fire licked vacuum. Every Dominion ship nearby fled in panic. On Carries 4, the prisoners rose from their knees. The skies, once full of death, were now littered with falling debris. Terran dropships descended like comets. Children pointed. Civilians cheered. In one tunnel, a young man with dirt-streaked skin and hollow eyes whispered. "She came. My sister really came." Back in orbit, the fleet held position. Silence reigned. Inside the damaged bridge of Vindicator, Aisha sat amid flickering lights. Malik's voice crackled in. "Is it done?" "Yes," Aisha whispered. "It's done." She looked out the shattered viewport, her reflection blending with the stars. Earth hadn't spoken for years. But when it did, the galaxy remembered. The battle was over. But war always leaves echoes. 3 Terran dreadnoughts floated above Carries 4 like weary sentinels. Debris from Dominion wrecks orbited the scarred planet, twisted metal, severed hulls, charred insignias that once promised terror. On the bridge of TSV Vindicator, emergency repairs flickered across every console. Wires hung like vines. The lights remained dim, just enough to navigate. The hum of life support was the only sound. Even Valor, Earth's most advanced AI, spoke softly now. Enemy fleet neutralized. Warlord Krizek, deceased. Status of Black Armada, critically operational. Awaiting further command. Commander Aisha Wren didn't respond. She stood at the viewport, arms folded, watching rescue vessels descend to Carries 4. Down on the surface, the true weight of their mission revealed itself. Buildings were ash. Entire districts had collapsed into themselves. Roads became trenches. Yet the people, those who survived, emerged like seeds after fire. Covered in soot. Limping. Crying. Smiling. Medical officers from Orion's Fist moved swiftly across the ruins. Triage centers bloomed inside shattered malls. Tech teams rigged water purifiers using scrap from Dominion gear. Each survivor tagged. Federal treated. No one asked how long they had been underground. They already knew. Aisha arrived by shuttle. She stepped onto blackened soil with boots still stained from battle. Her uniform was torn at the shoulder. Her hair was matted with dried blood. But her posture, rigid, present, unshakable. The children saw her first. They didn't run. They stared at the woman from the skies. The one who interrupted the executions. The one who answered silence with fire. An older woman walked up slowly, leaning on a cane. "You're Terran," she said, her voice breaking. Aisha nodded. "I remember Earth's anthem," the woman whispered. "I thought we were abandoned." Aisha lowered her head. "We should have come sooner." Rose stood nearby, overseeing atmospheric relays. He watched Aisha with narrowed eyes. Later, when she passed by, he finally spoke. "You're not the same." "No one is," she replied. He didn't argue. In the evening, as the sun dipped behind smoke-stained peaks, Aisha made her way to the collapsed remains of Carries 4's central school. It had been leveled in the first wave. She stepped over melted glass and half-buried desks. Someone had drawn stars on the broken wall, next to a name. T. Wren. She knelt, brushing ash away. Her fingers trembled. Just once. Later, inside a mobile command tent, the fleet's core officers gathered for their first full meeting since the battle. Captain Malik spread out the latest scans. No sign of Dominion vessels within 5 light-years. Whatever's left of their chain of command is scattered. Aisha remained quiet. One of the younger officers, Lieutenant Dens, spoke up. We should press the advantage. Hit their listening posts, maybe even their staging bays. Keep the pressure. No, Aisha said flatly. That's not the mission. He frowned. Then what is the mission now? She met his eyes. To make sure no one ever doubts Earth again. The Galactic Concorde sent a diplomatic envoy 2 days later. They arrived in sleek white cruisers, untouched by war. Their robes were clean. Their smiles polished. A representative stepped forward, flanked by guards. His voice was carefully neutral. Commander Rin. The Concorde acknowledges your effort. We hope for de-escalation and reconstruction cooperation. Aisha didn't shake his hand. You watched a human colony fall, she said. Then labeled intervention as reckless. He shifted. With respect, the Concorde has protocols. Protocols that protect nothing but appearances. She turned away before he finished. That night, a message was sent. Not to the Concorde. Not to the Dominion. To the galaxy. A broadcast from Carries 4, raw and unfiltered. This is Commander Aisha Rin. We are not conquerors. We are not expansionists. But we are human. When you hurt one of us, we remember. We don't react for politics. We act for people. Let that echo across every border you hide behind. Earth hears its own. And Earth answers. The message went viral across trade channels, outer colonies, and fringe systems. Pirates canceled attacks on minor Terran routes. Mercenary groups withdrew from human border worlds. Entire empires paused. Not from fear of war. From certainty of response. A week passed. The surviving population of Carries 4 had been relocated or rehoused. The dead were buried where possible. A new monument stood outside the school ruins, a child's drawing engraved in steel. A girl holding Earth's flag. No words. None needed. Inside the Vindicator, repairs neared completion. Aisha sat alone in her quarters, reviewing decrypted logs. Then, without warning, her personal console pinged. A private message. From T. Ren. If you're reading this, I didn't make it. Don't be angry. I stayed because someone had to. I didn't know if you'd ever come, but I always believed you would try. And that's what mattered. You always led. Even when no one followed. Tell Mom I got into that academy after all. Not the one she wanted, but the one I needed. Goodbye, Aisha. And thank you for being the sister the universe needed. And mine, too. She read it twice. Then once more. And then she cried. Not loudly. Not broken. Just quiet tears for a boy who believed, even as the world burned. Later that night, she stood again at the bridge. Stars stretched endlessly ahead. Malik approached her slowly. We can go home, she said. We could, Malik nodded. Or we stay visible. A shadow over every sky that doubts. She didn't commit to either. Not yet. But she watched the stars longer that night. And somewhere, far away, the galaxy learned that Earth may sleep, but it never forgets.